Welcome back, troops. Let's tab 59. Wow, it's been good. Thank you if you've subscribed to me. I've got 175 subscribers now. Now, listen, guys, I'm not always begging for subscribers. I'm never going to be a YouTube star. I'm not ever going to make money out of this. I'm just doing it for a bit of a laugh. I'm a retired veteran. It's just a bit of a sideline, a bit of a hobby. I like tabbing, I like shooting, I like doing stuff like that. And so I thought I'd like to make a few videos and have a channel. And that's all that is. So please, if you can, just support me, encourage me. That's all it is. It's one encouragement sometimes. Just give us a thumbs up, a like, whatever, a nice comment if you can, and subscribe if you haven't already. So thanks for that. Now, what's today about? Well, I'll tell you what today's about. Today's about tabbing, of course, but it's about tabbing safety and survival. Now, as you know, if you're just going to go for a little 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mile tab around your local area, like I do, 99.9% of the time I'm on tarmac. So I don't have to really worry too much about survival. Obviously a bit of safety because, traffic, etc. But that aside, survival is not that important for what just tabbing, hiking around the area. However, I like to go a bit further afield, a little bit more desolate plains sometimes, and you might want to do the same. And if you do, there's a few things you need to think about. And that's what I want to talk about today. So let's say then that we have decided, or you and me have decided, we're going to go out together on a tab all day from first light in the morning. It's in the summer, it's got a nice long summer day, right through to the evening. Say sort of 12, maybe 13 hours tabbing on, say, like a nature park, reserve, a national park, like Brecon Beacons maybe, or the Lake District, anywhere like that. And we're going to be away for a long tab. We've got to start thinking about safety, obviously, but also survival. Now, one of the first things we want to do is let somebody know. It'd be irresponsible for me on my own, or me and my mate, just to bugger off somewhere and not really tell anyone else, a third party, where we're going and what we're doing, because if something happens to us, they're never going to know. We're just gone missing, and it's not fair. So what I suggest you do, or what we do, is we would talk to a third party and we say, listen, me and Dave, we're going for a tab. We're going to this area. This is on the map here. This is roughly the route we're going to take around there. And we expect to be back by, say, 1800 hours. If you haven't heard from us by 1800 hours, ring emergency services, effect a rescue. So just let somebody know, and if they haven't heard from us then, they can start to get the ball rolling and we can get out of the poo. So it's good to let someone know where you're going and what you're doing. Now, secondly then, we've got to think about what we're going to carry in our patrol pack or our Bergen, whatever we're taking. Now, if we're going out for about 12 hours, don't do a great big Bergen, just a little patrol pack, a little backpack. That's all you need. But what do you take? Well, I like to break it down into 3 categories, right? 3 things. Oh, plaster on the finger. 3 things. First of all, you've got your nice to haves. Then you've got your must have, your should haves, and then you've got your must haves. So it's nice to have, should have, and must have. Now let's go through some of them. So what are we talking about with nice to haves? Well, nice to haves is all these luxury items, if you like. Things that you want to take out with you, like you want to take food and water anyway for that length of time. Obviously, you've got to take water with you. But you might think, well, let's take a big flask of coffee. Let's take a big flask of tea. Let's take a big batch of sandwiches or pasties with us. Take all that if you want. They're nice to have. You don't necessarily need to have them. Food and water is important, even for a short 12 to 13 hour day trip. You're going to want water, definitely. And you want a couple of energy bars or something. But nice to haves in the food and drink department are big flasks of coffee and stuff like that. You don't necessarily need them to survive for a short 12-hour tab, but they're a nice to have. You might want to take some camera equipment to take some nice photographs or videos with, a tripod for your camera or something, or a folding seat even. Well, they're all nice to haves. But you tend to find that when you finish packing your backpack, as any veteran or serving soldier will tell you, they pack their kit, they stick it all in their Bergen or whatever, they put it on their back and they went, shit, that's a little bit too heavy. And they'll take it off and they unpack some of the items they don't think they need. And that's going to be the things they leave out are going to be the nice to haves, the little home comforts. So that's your nice to haves. Now, what about your should haves? Now, should haves are things that are fairly essential, But again, you could survive without them. And that's what I want to talk to you about, the should-haves next. So I'm going to turn your camera around so you can see what I've got. And this is just my idea. It's not exhaustive. There's things there you might disagree with or agree with, I don't know, or things that should be there that aren't there. It's up to you. I'm just giving you my ideas, right? Everyone's different. So let's turn you around first of all. Okay, there we are then. So these items here are what I think you should carry, or what I think I should carry when I go out on, say, a 12-hour day tab. So first of all then, I like to take a pair of binoculars with me. Good pair of binoculars. Again, it's not a must-have, it's a should-have. You could argue it's a nice-to-have. But I can use these when I'm navigating, especially on a compass bearing. I'm looking at my map and I want to spot a distance, a feature in the distance. Binoculars can help me identify that feature. A head torch. Now, a torch. We're going out for a 12-hour tab in the daytime. Why am I taking a head torch? It's a should have, because what if I get stuck out there, me and my partner get stuck out there, and it becomes nightfall, we've got no torch. So take it doesn't weigh anything. And also, if I'm there on my own or with my partner, we need to get rescued, at least I've got a torch, a light I can use to signal our location with to anyone that's trying to rescue us. Could argue you take a whistle as well. Whistle's a good thing to have. Next to that then, I've got this little gadget here. All this is a ferris stick with a striker, and in the end there's a little bit of tinder, and I can get a fire going with that if I have to. It's a way of igniting a fire if I need to in a survival situation. Little sharpening tool here in its pouch, and that's just to, obviously you want to take a good pocket knife. You can have a Swiss Army knife or a Leatherman. I just carry a little folding knife. It's always sharp when I go out, but if I've been out there using it and the blade starts to get dull, I can then, using this little tool here, brighten the blade up a little bit. Another one I like to carry is this folding pruning saw. Basically, you can get it from a garden centre. It just folds up inside itself, and that's great for cutting small pieces of firewood, etc. if I need it. So they're my should-haves, but they're not the must-haves. So think about it. Remember, you've got whatever you take, you've got to carry, you've got to hump it for up to 12 hours. So you don't want to take too much. That's your should-haves. Now, let's go on to your must-haves. So straight away, a compass. I think a silver compass, a good quality silver compass, is a must-have. I think a map case, obviously there's no map in this one at the moment, but always have a map of the area that I'm going to. That's essential. I need a map and a compass. I know you've got apps on your phones, etc. But as you know, you can lose a signal, the battery can die, you break the phone, you've got less chance of anything going wrong with this. Obviously your mobile phone. Take a mobile phone, make sure it's fully charged. It may not work, but if it does, it could get you out the poo. Now we're going to talk about first aid. Well, as you can see here, I've got a chest seal, a compression dressing for gunshot wounds, and a tourniquet. Now, those three items there are really, I carry those because I do some shooting. And when I go out, I keep it in my first aid kit in my patrol pack. So if I take my patrol pack with me, which I do when I go shooting, if anything happens to me, I get a gunshot wound or a partner does, something happens like that, I've got something that could save the day. The rest of the first aid kit is really basic. Got a little, this is sneaked into the first aid kit. This is bug spray. This is a little airway tube. This is a wound spray, a liquid spray for burns and scald unbroken blisters. Triangular bandage, some waterproof bags, some zinc oxide tape, disposable gloves, some tissue paper, some ibuprofen, an assortment of plasters, a little pair of scissors. And that's basically my little basic first aid kit for going out. And I think that first aid kit is got to be a must-have. I've also got this little leaflet here, which has got first aid guidance in it. Now, I'm quite confident I don't need that. However, the person that's with me or someone that's treating me might not be. At least they can find that amongst my first aid kit, and that little leaflet might help them to help me. On that note then, this first aid kit is for me. It's primarily for me to be treated, either treat myself or someone that's with me or finds me can use that to treat me. If you're tabbing out with a partner, they should have their own first aid kit, and that's primarily to treat them. Either they treat themselves or you use their kit to treat them. Keep that kit for yourself. That's quite important. Okay, so that's it then. Your nice to haves, your should haves, and your must haves. That's how you want to pack your kit. And it's not exhaustive. It's up to you how much you want to carry, how big your bogan is, how fit you are, how strong you are. There's certain things you really do need to have. Okay then, so I've also got this little backup box. It's a little margarine tin, nothing special. And in here, a few elastic bands around the lid. Apologies for the camera. A few elastic bands around the lid, and it's just a margarine tub that I've cleaned out. And I keep in here a few items of real sort of last ditch needed items in case something goes wrong. Little bag in here, and I've got a disposable lighter in there, some matches, a little pen, some tweezers, that's always handy, and some super glue and a paper clip and some more elastic bands around it. All those items can come in handy. I also carry a little 8-hour burning tea light, that can be handy, and I carry some cotton and a couple of needles and some bits of cork. Now, we spoke about having a compass. What if we can't find north? What are we going to do? Well, if we lose our compass, it breaks or whatever, we can improvise. Yes, you can use your watch if you've got an analog watch by pointing the hour hand towards the sun and then bisecting a line between the hour hand and the number 12 on the face of the watch, and that will give you south. And then, of course, you've got north, east and west. But what if you haven't got a watch or you can't see the sun? There's another thing you can do. Now, I've had to prepare this already because otherwise it won't work. It takes a while to do. If you've got a needle, and you can see here I've got a needle in my hand that's gone through a piece of cork, you can magnetise the end of the needle, one end of the needle, by rubbing your knife across it, just vigorously getting your the blade of your knife and just rubbing it on the end of the needle. That will magnetise the tip of the needle, which then when you float it in water, in this case I've put some water in a glass ashtray, obviously not into a metal cup or something, so that won't work. Out on the ground there might be a puddle that you can drop this in, and the cork will keep the needle afloat, and it'll spin round the magnetised end and give you magnetic north. If you haven't got a bit of cork, you can see here I've put, it's moved a bit actually, let's bring it across. That needle there is floating on a leaf, and it's just settling down. There it goes. It's just turning now, and that is giving me rough north. You can see there my compass, the red needle. There it goes. So that's magnetised one end of the needle. It's floating on a leaf in water, and that will give me magnetic north. So that's one way that you can find north quite simply. So think about what you're going to carry. Maybe have a little tub like that with some bits in it. You can come up with better ideas. This just suits me. It works for me. So that's my few tips then. That's my few tips for tabbing, safety and survival. It's an endless subject, right? It can be more comprehensive than that. This is just the basics I'm covering, giving you an idea of what to think about if you decide to go out on the ground on a longer tab over a desolate, vast land where there's not very many people. You're on your own. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. Keep subscribing, those that haven't, please. Keep giving a thumbs up now and again if you can. And as always, there's always one at the end. Top tabbing tip, top tabbing tip, top tabbing combat tip. Here's one for you. On the battlefield, anything can get you shot, including doing nothing. Remember that one. Till next time, guys. Let's tab.